a flash fiction piece. But first, I would like to thank all of my writing professors here at Knox, Nick, Sherwood, Chad, and Sin, for all of their encouragement and helping me push my writing to a higher potential. I'd also like to thank all of my friends and classmates for their positive feedback, and I'd like to thank Monica for all of her advice that she's given me over the years. Can you guys all hear me? Yeah. So my first piece is called 5:30 to 4. Right out of high school, I of 18 wakes, 4:45, eat, dress, drive, punch into 5:30 features, hand scan, standing boots, toes full of steel, ground ears drilled with whirs from loud machinery, polluting hot concrete box in which I work in time. Monotonous peels the paperback lining, apply sticky side down on glazed black caps, turn 3 sides and top, 87 parts, 10 hours. Beside a man, reckless truck-driving fighter turned minivan, 3-divorce sire, speaks words of seduction to a girl I half his age. Maybe I'll get you a bib and spoon-feed you. Look down, do not respond. Peel paperback lining, apply sticky side down on glazed black caps, turn top, left side, bubble, unpeel, rip. It'd be best to grow your fingernails out. Turn right. How simple would it be to turn the steering wheel a quarter counterclockwise? Take my burgundy Toyota, meet his semi on Ross. He'd plow my car right over, bending frames down to pancake shattered glass. But how bad would that be? For me, my damage, calculated in total repair, far exceed his. I bet he has a wife somewhere, gives her the night when they're alone. All the testosterone that has been jiggled out by impact, I bet he has children. Bet they wish that he was around to teach them ball. Bet he drives all day to give them bread that his wife only picks up to bring to others. Order number 5. I bet he wants to give them the opportunity to be something greater than big truck driver. I could take my car, bend its wheels to falter, watch his face as he realizes to swerve, but too late. I have no children. This next piece I wrote for my grandma's funeral. It's called To the Woman That Always Called Me Beautiful. Snow has molded like wet, opaque plastic for me to melt. Like a mountain in the plains, claiming the land, I sat among flurry-covered gardens until you brought me in to reheat. Ancient railway lanterns, netted seashells, jars of foreign sands, clocks that rang bird calls every hour. This unfamiliar house, my treasure chest. And I still treated you like a game when it was our turn to take you home, finding your glasses, corralling you from our neighbors' yards, knowing that the bus you sought would never come. Home was the room I'd pass, watching birds and day reflected in your eyes, to hear you mumble about little black boys who peed all over the yard. But you always knew I was there, every day calling me beautiful, though you can no longer remember my name or the ounces I weighed when I was born. To help you, I set words in stone on pages so you would not forget, and if you did, they lay waiting to be read again, waiting for you to comment every time. They were freshly published sheets, still warm to be touched, wet ink still damp to be smeared and rewritten. Memories, too, can be rewritten, for soon we won't remember what we ate 2 weeks ago, or the compliment we received in the line by a stranger, or the 8th grade teacher who made us stand up in front of the class to tell them why Miss Almighty hadn't exchanged her quiz like the rest of them. It was all a matter of calculation. It is all a matter of calculation, a formula set in place, genes given to color the lightness of your blue eyes, your blonde hair, but also sculpting your sickness. My palms spread, curving round your back, sunken skin, fingers wedged among rib bones and spinal fragments, hoping not to get stuck, pushing, entangled, moving limp arms, dressing synthetic. I looked down, finding elastic skin, dried, forming the resemblance of flakes sunburn, stretched an inch too far. When the medical examiners arrived to remove your body, each crevice and plateau was searched for abuse, not detecting the emotional scars you left behind, or the perfect white hair that remained clinging to the fabric of my sweaters, embedded into the carpet to be transferred by foot, a remembrance to be carried, reminding me that I never got to tell you that you were beautiful too. And my final piece for tonight. There are some things that you want to remember forever. My dad gave me 3 words: sky, bread, vanish. He learned at a medical school conference in Madison that if you instill a certain set of words or phrases into a child at a young age, they would remember them for the rest of their lives. He thought this was a neat idea and tested it out on me. At the age of 6, I remember staring at the sky, lying in the snow. It is white as I am white, and it is cold, and I feel the air crisp in my lungs and a refreshing clearness in my eyes. The snow has surrounded my body. I am little, but stuffed and padded with fluff as insulation. It is dark, but I am not cold, just there. And I see the light from inside my house, the warm glow among the shades. I expect the warmth of a hug from my father and a cup of hot chocolate, a blanket of puffy marshmallows covering the bubbling liquid. It is calling me, and I must go. I am walking home from school because I am big enough not to ride the bus. I am 11. The sky is pale. A gray mass of wintry clouds covers the happy bright blue. The sky, however, reflects the snow, drawing my attention instead downward. I am cold, wearing plain jeans and a light coat, because people my age would rather risk comfort for style. I am 6. Every day after school, I come home to find my dad waiting for me. He is preparing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with Pringles on the side. He knows I won't eat it unless he cuts the top crust off. This crust is hard and tastes bad and distracts from the goodness inside. At 10, I could tell the difference between good bread. My father sometimes buys French bread. It consists of a crispy outside and a soft, fresh center, making each bite on impact so much more satisfying. He eats each of the crusted ends, lathering the freshness with peanut butter and butter to soften the taste. He saves the rest and refuses to eat more, wanting me to have it. I have 4 pieces, which is most of the loaf. Maybe he remembers the time I made gingerbread men. I created and saved the most perfect one for myself. Unknowing, my father ate it, and I cried. I hated him. At 6, my father asked me daily, then weekly, and monthly to tell him his 3 words. After a hesitation of trying to remember what he was talking about, I began. Sky, bread, vanish. I emphasize the word vanish, making it sound magical, like a magic trick, because he smiles and while laughing tells me I am a good girl, yet his face lingers with a kind of surprise. At 14, it's all gone. He's gone, and I'll never know him more than what I imagine him to be. When I am 10, I remember the sadness that would come over my father's eyes. I imagine him as a lonely boy whose parents never paid much attention to. A troublemaker who enjoyed sick days when he could spend the whole day watching Bonanza. The boy who hated himself for never accomplishing the things he wanted to do or be, a doctor, scientist. When he saw me staring, the cloud of sadness would vanish. I don't know if that was a trick back then, as a way of making me believe that everything would be okay. And maybe magicians weren't the only ones who could play tricks.